Craig and Lori, some participants in this year's Tulsa Tough event left as winners, but others returned home with major injuries. FreshRx isn't just helping those with health issues, but they're also finding other ways to give back to green country. Kids are making a splash while they still can. Tulsa City pools are gearing up to close this weekend as they're still feeling the effects of this year's lifeguard shortage. Just like this, Jayden pushed his lawnmower over several lawns, but imagine doing it in one of Oklahoma's worst heat waves. Now today is one of 3 sensory-sensitive events, and at this one, kids can come and meet princesses and explore fire trucks in an environment that's comfortable for them. The drills took place at the Owasso Training Center, where cadets got to get out of the classroom and practice their skills in a whole new environment. Lonnie Brinker says the last few days have been full of heartache, but now he's finally gotten his reuniting moment with some of his furry friends. When it rains, it pours, and Norman floods. After some historic flooding back in June 2022, one homeowner is counting their property as a total loss.
The damage was extensive. In fact, we believe it to be totaled.
Not only losing the home, but a form of income as well.
To date, some 5 months rent from that. We continue, nevertheless, to pay taxes on the property, pay for insurance, and so on and so forth.
Small creeks and lack of drainage seem to be to blame, but the city hosted 2 elections to help increase stormwater funding, but both failed. Now where I'm walking right now is what used to be someone's living room. But now, as it sits floorless and with debris everywhere, the only thing the owners see worth doing is turning the whole structure into a pile of rubble.
In the end, for us, it is prohibitive to raise it and spend $30,000 extra dollars out of our pocket to do it.
Some Norman city leaders believe there may be other solutions to this problem.
The solution is not always go spend $1 million and build more pipe and channel. Sometimes it's just eliminate the problem, take the houses out.
And some of these homeowners couldn't agree more.
We're very hopeful that the city would be open to buying the lot back from us.
Kimberly Pettit is no stranger to cycling or Tulsa.
I started racing again and have been doing Tulsa Tough for the last 6 or 7 years.
She's a cycling coach, and although she watched from the sidelines this year, she says Tulsa Tough is always a great event. But this year, she says there were quite a few things that went wrong.
I didn't expect to see so many crashes.
Video taken by the cyclists show crashes creating pileups on Friday night that sent people to the hospital. And on Saturday, video from the race shows a man walking onto the course, creating a massive pileup, injuries, and delays.
It was almost in slow-mo. 2 riders kind of ricocheted off him, like they bounced off his shoulders and went either direction. One guy just went straight headfirst into this guy that was standing there. And he went from vertical to horizontal in like a split second.
Grayson Kepler was riding in that race. He's a Category 1 cyclist and agrees that Tulsa Tough felt more dangerous this year.
People with a broken back, one of my old teammates might lose her eye, somebody with a slash right down his head, taken to use the ICU.
Grayson and Kimberly both point to narrower streets, more riders, dangerous barriers, and less experienced riders as problems that need to be addressed. This morning marks the 25th anniversary of the university tradition to run the game ball down to the Cotton Bowl.
All the ROTC branches are here, but especially the Navy ROTC, engaging in this now 25-year tradition of carrying the ball from the Palace on the Prairie across the Red River all the way to the Cotton Bowl.
After ball handoff from OU head coach Brent Venables, Battalion Commander Jermaine Wells began to lead his team on their way down south. Even proud OU President Joseph Harris joined in on the action and ran the first 2 miles with Commander Wells.
It's a great tradition, honoring the universities and most importantly our country.
Members of the OU Navy will run in 15-mile increments over the next 4 days on their way to Dallas. President Harris is proud of the university's students and is hopeful for the Sooners during the rivalry game this Saturday. At the Palace, Jayden Brannon, OU Nightly.
The ROTC run to Dallas starts now.
Native tribes in the state speak out about who they believe should be governor. Campus Native leaders tell us why Indigenous Peoples Day is important, and RAs take a stand about their current working conditions. This is OU Nightly. Here's some good news for all iPhone users. Text messages can now be edited and deleted. A message can be edited within 15 minutes of sending and 2 minutes to unsend completely. Recipients will know the text has been edited and will be able to click a button to see previous versions. Text will still be sent immediately, meaning the recipient could still read the message before the sender deletes it. Regardless, iPhone users now have the ability to change any typos or embarrassing images. Thanks, Olivia. And speaking of rising numbers, the number of registered people to vote in the state is on the climb, and OU organizations are helping out. The Housing Center Student Association and Oklahoma Votes and many other organizations are partnering to help OU students register. They're hosting registration events starting tomorrow at 10 a.m. and goes until 5 p.m. And there's new information tonight in the Oklahoma governor's race, and it's surprising. Oklahoma-based political consulting firm Ascend Action reports that for the first time in this race, Democrat Joy Hoffmeister holds a 7-point lead over incumbent Governor Kevin Stitt, who is a Republican. The poll was conducted among 638 likely voters. 49% said they support Hoffmeister compared to 42% backing Stitt. Hoffmeister's lead is outside the margin of error of 3.6%. 8% of respondents were undecided. Today, the OU community came together to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. Native American leaders on campus say marking today is incredibly important. Student loans and the economy are big issues in the upcoming election, and if you can't vote in person, you'll want to be sure to request an absentee ballot. Oklahoma's deadline to request those ballots is today. You'll have to apply in line by 5 today if you want to receive an absentee ballot.